Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, July the 31st. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clay Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. Today I want to talk about team toughness. And to me, team toughness doesn't mean you have 18 skaters who can each individually win a fight one-on-one all the time. What I'm talking about is making your team tough to play against, whether they forecheck hard or they back check hard or they win all the battles on the boards or all the stick battles, whatever it may be. Is your team tough that way? Are they tough to play against? And I would put forth that the Canucks over the summer so far have made their team a lot tougher to play against. When you look at the guys they've recruited up front and the guys on the blue line. And of course, I'm looking at the big four, the four biggest acquisitions of the offseason. And up front, that's JT Miller and Michael Ferland. And on the blue line, that's Tyler Myers and Benn. Now, before we get to these four players, let's talk about the Canucks last season. I wouldn't say that they got pushed around a lot. It's not like, teams exerted their will on them, or over them. But I do think that, no one's going to offer the Canucks as one of the top 5 toughest teams to play against in the league. And while I just finished saying that I don't think teams exerted their will over them, I think the Canucks weren't one of the more difficult teams to play against, and therefore they didn't really intimidate teams, or teams weren't really afraid to play against the Vancouver Canucks. And maybe I don't think they were taking cheap shots on Pettersson intentionally, but he did happen to get hurt twice throughout the season. One on an elbow to the head, or a head, a check to the head behind the net, and the other one would have been, we got it tangled up with Kotkaniemi in the middle of the ice. But the Canucks, they had a few tougher guys, or at least guys that were bigger, like Virtanen and Edler, so to speak. And Horvat's even quite big. He weighs 215. At least that's what he listed at. But there weren't any guys who would completely drop the gloves and would pound someone if they did anything. Anton Roussel was a bit of a poop to server, so to speak. And we had a guy like that in Derek Dorsett who had to retire though because of injuries. So all to say, last season I think, yeah, the Canucks, they weren't the toughest to play against, and it looks like Jim Benning really wanted to address that over the summer. So up front, he brings in 2 forwards that, behind Jake Virtanen now, are our heaviest forwards from a listed weight standpoint. Both JT Miller and Michael Ferland are listed at 217, 218 pounds, and that, like I said, that only puts them behind Jake Virtanen. And just because you're heavy doesn't mean you're a tougher player. But both those guys, the good thing about them is they carry their weight so well. Not only are they bigger players, but they skate very well. Michael Ferland can hit like a truck. He's kind of like what we want Jake Virtanen to be. And JT Miller has really, really good speed, especially for a guy his size. So not only are we getting more goal scoring up front in our top 6, solidifies our top 6 with guys that are tougher to play against, guys that can win puck battles, guys that, that would, in essence, improve the overall quality of our top 6. And it's nice that they're both 6'1", 217, 218 pounds, and like I said, behind Jake Virtanen, become the second and third heaviest players on our team in terms of forwards that are gonna, play a regular shift on our team, just ahead of Bo Horvat. Then you look at the blue line. Benn, he's not the biggest guy. He's listed at 6'2", 199 pounds, so 200 pounds. But he does play smart. He does play aggressive. He does play hard. And he is a guy that makes our team tougher to play against. And of course, you have the giant Tyler Myers, 6'7", 6'8". He's listed at 230 pounds. And obviously he's a behemoth. He's the biggest guy we've had in the blue line for a long while, especially until Nikita Trampkin comes back. Imagine Trampkin comes back, but that was my video from yesterday. So in Tyler Myers and Benn, you have 2 guys that make our blue line tougher to play against. And Tyler Myers might give pause to a guy, coming across the middle or trying to rush the crease, or whatever it may be. So in all these players, in JT Miller, in Michael Ferland, in Benn, and Tyler Myers, we have added more size to our team without getting less skill. Like sometimes you worry when you add size, it must mean they can't play or you're sacrificing skill. Not in this case. All 4 guys, really excited about the acquisitions. We can quibble about the price point or the term of the contracts, but no one can argue that the team is a lot better on paper than they were at this point of the year last season, in the middle, basically at the end of July, at the start of August. And you look at the St. Louis Blues, the Stanley Cup champions, you look at the Boston Bruins, the 2 teams that were in the Stanley Cup finals, they had enough skill, for sure. When you look at guys like Pasternak and Tarasenko and Marchand, you can go down the list. But they also had guys that were heavy, that were tough to play against. And it's not rocket science that the 2 teams that were playing in the final were the 2 teams that mixed skill and grit, so to speak, or toughness. And you can't just go with a team that's just all tough guys, and obviously you can't go with a team that's just all skill guys. You're gonna need that mix. As much as skill and speed are emphasized in today's NHL, you do need guys who can complement them. And if you can have skill and speed, like Ferland and like Miller, and be a bigger player, then that's a bonus as well. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited that the Canucks are gonna be tougher to play against, both up front and on the blue line, and it should result in an increase in points, and it should result, as I've been talking about for the past month, it should result in better chances of making the postseason. Canucks fans would love to hear what you think. Do you agree with me that our team stood to get tougher to play against? Do you agree that these 4 guys will add an element of toughness? And do you agree that these 4 guys will help push us closer to a playoff spot? And of the 4 players, Miller, Ferland, Benn, and Myers, which guy are you most excited about in terms of making our team tougher to play against? We'd love to read your comments. Leave a comment below. I'd love to read, react, and reply as always. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the day. God bless. And go Canucks go.